Back with another Savage stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in and liking my videos, sharing my videos, commenting on my videos, and subscribing to my channel. You guys are awesome no matter what BrandonCoin says about you. So speaking of BrandonCoin, be sure to check out his channel after you get done watching this video. He's got some really cool stuff over here. He's doing a lot of content lately. So be sure to give him a like, share, and all that cool stuff. Subscribe to his channel. Not share, but I mean, you can share his videos too, but subscribe to his channel. I'll drop that in the chat. Make sure everybody's got it. But don't go there until after this video, right? So what we're going to do in this video, we are going to we're going to attempt to BIOS mod our PowerColor RX 5700 XT in place in a SimpleMining OS rig without even turning the rig off or taking the GPU out. We're going to do it in place. That's what this video is going to be about, and this is live. We're going to try to do it live, and that is what we're doing. It's basically 4 steps. Download the existing BIOS, the stock BIOS from the GPU itself, edit that BIOS with BIOS editor, upload that modded BIOS back to the rig, and then flash the GPU with the modded BIOS. And to complete this, you're going to need a rig running SimpleMining OS, a Windows computer on the same network that can run WinSCP and RBE, BIOS editor. We'll talk about both of those a little bit. But that's basically what you need, and something to be sure that you understand that you are going to use this. If you do this, this is at your own risk, right? I'm not responsible for you bricking your card, or if you lose power during the process or something like that, and you break your card, that's on you. This is just for entertainment purposes only. That's it. So yeah, use this information at your own risk. Okay, so covered what we needed to complete the process. We're going to fire up a notepad just to document basically what we are going to do, or what our settings are currently. So we want to document what our hash rate is. 50, we'll say, and this is on Ethereum. We're going to be worried about Ethereum for the most part here. So current, so I'll call this before. So before, we're getting 50.69 on this one PowerColor Red Devil Radeon RX 5700 XT. Beautiful card, love this thing. This is what it looks like over here. It's so sick, such a awesome card. I wish I could find about I don't know, 7 more of these. That would be freaking sweet. All right, let's see. That is what we're going to be. All right, let me bring this back up. Okay, so before, that's what we're getting. Let's go ahead and document, actually, I'm not going to mess with the overclock settings. I'm going to leave them the same. That way we are apples to apples instead of apples to oranges after we messed around with our BIOS settings, right? So before we do the BIOS edit, using BIOS editor, we're getting 50.69 megahash per second on Ethereum on this rig. We're mining on Ethermine, pretty basic stuff. So don't really need to worry about that part. We just know that we are getting 50.69 right now. If you go over here and look at the actual console, you can see it down here. Also, probably take a note of the wattage. It says 101 watts, so we'll document that as well. Something like that. Okay, just so that we have an idea of what's going on. We're not going to really mess with the power so much, I don't think. It might drop a little bit, but I think that the power is probably going to remain about the same. And you can see right here what's on the pool. This is the pool side, so 50.684 on the pool side, and that's what it correlates to this. So we know that we're dealing with the right hash rate to begin with. Okay. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is get into the rig using shell in a box. And the way you do that there's several different ways, but you can click on the little green information icon there, or button, then click on the three dots, and then go shell in the box. And mine automatically logs in. Yours probably will too, depending on what you've done. You know, if you've modified anything so far, it should fire up like this and get you to the miner command prompt. Okay, now if it doesn't, the SimpleMiner default login is miner for the login name, and your password by default for the rig is your email address. Okay, so that is how you actually get into the rig using shell in a box. All right, so we can see our GPU here, a little bit of information there for you. And the first thing we're going to do, we could, if you had more than one GPU, I know that we only have one, but you could run this command right here. This is AMD info, not AMD info, AMD VB flash. And with the AI parameter, will get information about your currently installed GPUs. So we're going to enter that. So this is our current information about our GPU. Okay, cool stuff. All right, so now we know that our adapter is 0, so our GPU number is 0. All right, that's important as you're going through this process, because the first thing you want to do is save the existing BIOS from the card to the rig. Okay, it's basically going to drop it into your, I think it's your miner home folder, I believe. And I mean, we'll figure it out in a minute, but the very first thing you want to do is save your BIOS. You do that with this command here. But I'm going to change the name. So this right here is the utility that we're using. sudo is basically super user do, and it's like an admin. And this is the utility. The S is save, is the way to look at it. And then this number right here is your GPU number. So if you have more than one GPU in your rig, you will be changing this number, but you should make a backup of each and every BIOS that you have for every GPU. Now in this case, it's super simple because I only have one. All right, did this on purpose so that we're not getting too confused on the number of GPUs. But you would have, you could have adapter 1, adapter 2, adapter 3, so on and so forth, and you're going to want to save them with a name, an appropriate name. All right, like in this case, I could probably just come up here and grab this right here. Like save, so copy that, maybe save that like that. And actually, that's not going to work. We would need to use some, I can just put all this together. I mean, heck, I could just call it a 5700. Let me just do this. Let's just do this, make it easy. All right, so we'll go PowerColor 5700 XT and then stock. So stock BIOS, right? So it needs to be .rom on the end, like that. And I'm going to show you this in a minute because you're going to see where this is going to end up. So we're going to go enter. So I've got GPU 0 selected here. Good on that. All right, and you should get some type of an output like this. And this usually means everything's good, and you'll be able to see if it's good in just a moment. Now, again, if you are doing more than one GPU, you would go back through this process. If they are different, then this might be one, and let's say you had a 5600, it may look something like this, okay? But you're going to want to save the stock BIOS from each GPU. So hopefully that makes sense. Then you're going to want to download WinSCP, just a simple little utility that will get you into your rig, SSH into the rig, actually SFTP, and be able to move files to and from the rig fairly easily. So this is the link up here. You can see that it is secure and pretty high confidence that it's a valid site and everything is okay. You would download the software and you would right click on it, choose run as administrator. I've already done it. Actually, that's not it. Where is, you know what? Let's download it again. I must have moved it. Yeah, I must have moved it. All right. So downloading that, then you'll right click on it, run as administrator, go through all the default, basically choose all the defaults to install it, and you should be good. Once you get it up and running, you will run it. So I'm just running WinSCP. All right, now it has already has the host name in here because I've already connected to this rig before. But if it didn't, then you would have to add. I think you would, yeah, like you would do like a new site. So we'll just do it this way. So new site, you're going to go back to your rig. If you don't already know the IP, this is the IP right here. So this is why you have to be on the same network, or unless you know how to like forward from outside, forward ports and all that stuff from outside. Basically, it's easier if you are on your own network or on the same network. So we're going to go back to SCP, WinSCP. We're going to connect to, we're going to do a new site, 192.168.1.225. Leave the default port number. The miner is the username. And then remember, the password is your email address. All right. And then we can click save. Let's do, I think there's a way to like rename it. So I'm not going to save it, but you could save it. And then log in. All right, so now we just connected to the rig. It threw us into home miner automatically, right? If it doesn't, like let's say you're up here at the root, let's say it starts at the root, then just go to navigate to home and then miner, and you should see, does this look familiar? Because this is the name of the ROM that we saved, remember, in Shell in a Box over here. Right up here. So that's what we are actually looking at, is that ROM. So we're going to go over there, and now we need to get that ROM on our local computer so that we can actually modify it. And you can see I've got a bunch of them over here. I'm just gonna, this is just a location on my local machine. You could navigate to wherever you store your BIOSes on your machine. On mine, this is where they are. You can see the path right here. So I'm gonna click and drag this guy over here to copy it to the local machine. So here it is right here. Then the next thing we have to do is run RedBIOS editor. Now, this is the one that I'm going to leave you a link. Actually, let's see, I think, let me see here. There was, I think, I want to say that I put it in the description of the video. Let me check to make sure. Let me see here. Let me make sure it's in there. Yeah, there's a link to RedBIOS editor in the description. Now, the reason that I'm not just giving you a link to the actual software is because, you know, this is editing your BIOS on a GPU, and you could make a mistake and you could mess something up really bad, and hopefully I don't do that live. But point being is that they want you, Igor's lab is where the RedBIOS editor is from. They want you to, you know, basically click the link that says you understand that this is, you're using this at your own risk, and it is what it is. If you mess something up, it's not their fault, right? So it is like a experimental. You could look at it as experimental is the simplest way to look at it. All right, you guys are chatting it up over there. Yeah, finally doing a little bit of content on the 5700 XT. I mean, it's a 2-year-old card, so, or a year and a half or whatever it is. It's you know, it's not new, but it's definitely new to me, and I love it. It's such an awesome freaking card. All right, so we're gonna go back over to, all right, I have downloaded RedBIOS editor, and here it is right here. So it'll look like this. You right click on it, launch it, or run it as administrator, choose all the defaults. The defaults work fine. and then you will end up with a shortcut on your desktop. And that shortcut on your desktop, if you choose all the defaults, you have to run it as an administrator. So you'll right click on it and choose run as administrator. So it'll bring up this, then you have to choose yes, and then it will look like this. So now what do you think we're going to do? Now we are going to load the BIOS that we saved to our local machine into BIOS editor. So we need to, let me click on load over here just to see. Yeah, okay. All right, so click on load. You need to grab that stock BIOS, and it did default to the last location, so that's good. This is the stock BIOS right here that we downloaded, right? That we saved and downloaded. It does identify it as a 5700 XT. That's cool. Power play, we're not gonna mess with that right now. VRAM timings. Okay, so here's what you have to do. Anything that says 1500 or 1550 in this case, you're going to want to copy the whole entire string to the rest of the memory timings. Okay, so we're basically making all the other memory timings operate the same as 1550 in this case. You're going to need to do it for both. This GPU has two BIOS, so BIOSes. I think that's the way you say that. Has two BIOSes, and so we'll have to do this twice. All right, but we're gonna grab, if you just click anywhere in here and then press Control A on the keyboard, it will highlight everything for you, so you're not guessing whether or not you got it all. Just click somewhere in here, get your little cursor in there, and then press Control A. Then you're gonna right click copy, or you could press Control C, and then you're going to click down here, Control A again to highlight everything, right click, paste, and then you're going to see, you can look at these two numbers, they are the same, right? Same thing, click, Control A, right click, paste, click, Control A, you could do Control V to paste, like that. But now you're looking at these four right here are good to go. They are all the same, okay? So then we're going to click save, and this is not saving it to your GPU, right? Because you're just on your local machine. So we are going to save it with the same name. You could, like I've done up here, you can see I've done like serial numbers and stuff for individual GPUs. You could do that as well. If the GPUs are exactly the same, you might not have to worry about doing that, like separating it out by serial number, especially if the serial numbers are super close. But I do it just as a extreme amount of backup, right? Extreme amount of caution. All right, so we're gonna go modded. We're gonna name it, rename it. Don't save over your stock BIOS. You want to save that forever. So we're gonna do modded on the top of it, or change the name to modded, and then save. And then what we'll have to do is we need to, I think we probably could just go right like this. Okay, so you choose the other BIOS if yours has it, and see how this one starts at 1500, which is good. So we're going to click in here, Control A, Control C to copy it. Click down here on the next one. We got to do it to each one. So we're going to go Control A, Control V, click, Control A, Control V, click, A, V, click, A, V, and we're good. So now all those match, and then we're going to go save. Choose the same name. This is the modded one. And then what you could do to check is you could load that back in, right? So we could say load just to double check and make sure that we're good. The modded one. VRAM timings. So these are definitely all the same. And you could change to the other BIOS. Make sure that these are all the same. They are. So that looks good. So now we've got a modded BIOS. So now we go back to WinSCP, and you see right here, shows up in here. So we're just going to click that and drag it over to our rig. So now we've got this name on the rig as well. All right, we're making an extreme amount of progress here. So now we just need to go back to the rig and load up that BIOS on into the GPU, right? Flash the BIOS with that, or flash the GPU with that BIOS. Now, what I like to do is, I don't think you have to do this, but I like to actually pause mining. So I'm going to pause mining. I will probably have to, you have to restart after you do this, so I'll probably have to power cycle this rig. It's an old motherboard and it doesn't like to fire up the first time, so I have to actually power cycle it. Let's see, where are we at? So we need to, okay, so we're still in shell in the box over here. So now we are going to get that BIOS uploaded to the rig, or I'm sorry, to the GPU. All right, just looking at my notes, checking my notes here, so making sure I didn't mess anything up. So the way that you, and remember, we're only dealing with GPU 0. I'm gonna have to do paste from browser here. Didn't like that. I can put these commands, the list of commands, in the description as well. So this is the command right here, GPU 0. We have to give it a name, and remember the name was right here. So I'm just going to copy this just so I don't mess anything up, don't fat finger anything. So it looks like that. So that is this is the command, the -P is to flash the BIOS to that GPU, and this is GPU 0 again. All right, so then we're going to press enter. You should see some information like this. It says right here, restart system to complete the vBIOS update. Great. Now, if you have a lot of GPUs and they're all identical, okay, and you just want to do them all at once, you could use the command like this. It would look like that. It's like, I don't know what the P is. I think I would imagine put or something like that. I don't know. Program, probably. Program or put. Probably program, more than likely. So this is program all, okay? The A would be the program all. So basically you're saying every GPU that is listed, whenever you did that initial command where you saw what GPUs were in your system, will get flashed with this one. Now, you got to be sure that they're all identical. So if I had a rig of, let's say, 8 identical PowerColor Red Devil RX 5700 XTs, 8 gigabyte like I have, then I could do this command right here to flash them all at once. All right, so now that that is done, let me get out of here. I'm going to come over here. We'll do a restart. But this is probably where the rig's going to hang up and not actually restart. And then what's cool is I think that it will remain paused, like the mining will remain paused on that first reboot, and we'll be able to turn it back on and see what the hash rate is after that. So while that is happening, I'm going to kind of monitor the rig over, in real time, desk side here, look in the vault back there and make sure that it is actually restarting. So give me just a second here while I go over there and take a look. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to actually power cycle it. It seems to be kind of hung up, so give me just a second here. This rig does take a little bit of time to actually boot up and get going. I should have plugged in my camera, and then I could have kind of watched it from over here. Let you guys watch it as well, but I forgot. Yeah, be sure to smash that like button, you guys. Much appreciated. Yeah, see, it says rebooting, and it is. It's going to take a little bit. This is the part that sucks about doing things like this live. You just kind of have to just wait on it. You're at the mercy of the equipment. Okay, so you can see that it is starting. It says starting there. See that right here? But it says pause, right? So we need to go back in there and actually turn it on. Resume mining. So we'll let that talk for a minute. Hey, what's up, George? Thanks for coming over from DCA. Welcome to the stream. We're almost done. So it looks like it's connecting to the pool still, or back to the pool again. So far, so good. As far as firing up, this looks completely normal. DAG size, or DAG is building, so it's got to, that's got to be completed before it will actually start mining. And then you also have a auto tune process. This is Phoenix Miner, I believe, is what I'm using, and it's got the auto tune, so it does take a little bit of time before it will start hashing at the maximum possible amount or level. So you can see there it's like 33. Don't freak out. Just let it let it go for a little bit. It should increase quite a bit from there. So it's already at 51 on this screen, on the dashboard here. So we'll let that go for a few minutes, and then we'll document what it's at. It's actually 10 o'clock, so I'm going to end this here pretty soon. Just at first sight, we definitely gained, what is that, almost 4 mega hash, because we started at 50.69. So not too bad. I think I pulled the 101 watts from the actual console here. Let me see what it's showing in here, because that's a little bit concerning whenever it's showing 163, but that's probably, yeah, see 103 here. So we only went up 2 watts in the miner. And then I'm not, you know, this is like outside of the scope of this video would be to start messing with, you know, overclock settings and stuff like that. That's not really what this is about. Basically, you can see though that we did gain a percentage, you know, a couple of percentage points there. 53.84 it looks like. And it might go up a little bit more than that over time. That's basically what we look like right now. Hey, what's up, Max? Thanks for tuning in. You guys are just getting done over there. It was like, I thought it was only going to be about a 30-minute stream over there, and then I think an hour went by. So I thought that they were getting ready to wrap up. That's why I went ahead and went live. I could have waited. I didn't know that they were going to go for 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever it ended up being. All right, so that is all I got. If you thought that this video was useful or entertaining or educational in some way, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to smash the like, all that cool stuff. Subscribe to the channel. You guys know what to do. And remember, you have to remember. I clicked the wrong button. You have to remember, it can all be built on Bitcoin. Stay savage, everybody.